Sharp, Birthright ABC alumni from 2010, and today I'm talking about making an impact utilizing a startup mindset. So let's start with a little bit about me. British Armenian, born in London, but I've lived in Hayastan back in 2009 through to 2015, so about 6 years in Armenia. Um, my Armenian heritage was never that strong when I started up and growing up through life, but as I spent the time in Armenia and actually ever since, you kind of rebuild that true connection to the motherland. I am now based in Seattle, Tacoma, Washington, in the US. Originally, sort of had an engineering degree that sort of took me to Armenia initially, and I've worked on helping sort of form and create deep technology tech startups really ever since my time in Armenia. Um, and I guess at this point, best described as a serial entrepreneur, even if I don't love that name, and somebody who helps build entrepreneurial ecosystems. It all started at Tumo. Tumo, the Center for Creative Technologies, which hopefully many of you are familiar with, is a project that is really near and dear to my heart. I got to be at Tumo at the very, very beginning when there was maybe 5 or 6 people on the operational team and got to see Tumo scale through to 150 people. Pre-launch from when we were still in construction all the way through to setting up the building and the initial sort of programmatic pieces, through the first couple of years of operation, actually through the design of the first extension of the program up in Gumri. Um, Down the bottom left in 2011, as I was listening to the president at the time speak about the launch of Tumo, it was something that I didn't have the right vocabulary around. I didn't really understand what it was we were creating. I could see the 30, 40,000 people that showed up outside to the great party as we had launched this building. I saw the excitement and the enamorment on the faces of the kids who were coming in to like learn from this and the staff that we were beginning to train. But I didn't understand that really what we were creating is, I think, what a social enterprise. And a social enterprise is a construct that really falls into building an organization that at least had a double bottom line, if not a triple bottom line. And as we start thinking about it, felt into the category of really trying to help people. And then profit wasn't a big driver as much as prosperity for Armenia. And therefore, the initial inception was to really create more education for the people. And then hopefully through that, allow more prosperity to come through growing out a building with partnerships and organizations that would then invest back in. And that's exactly what it's grown into. There was never a core focus on in the environment or the planet, although there was a lot of developments in the nearby regions and sort of parks. And as Tumo has developed and grown, it's become much more of a sustainable organization with sustainability at its kind of core. It's really exciting to sort of see that Tumo was really the first big startup that I was part of. And startups have a unique power to make the change that we all desire. They don't have to be for profits or non-profits. Startups can encompass all of this because really it's a mindset. Um, and that mindset starts from the problems. I was very fortunate to go from my time in Armenia over to the US, in Colorado and then Alaska, where at that time I was able to sort of start and create programs that were very wide and very diverse, but working on programs that usually had a social or environmental impact cause at the heart of them, and programs that were driven by problems in real communities. Because coming from a country like Armenia to the US, you don't expect there to be as many endemic sort of community problems, but there really are. Problems with the health system, problems with housing, problems with food security. And I got a chance to like sort of help spur up programs and innovation sprints around all of these different pieces, basically allowing people to launch enterprises, for profits and non-profits, to grow and help solve some of these really either community centric or even nationally problematic areas. And working on everything that would drive ideas from Arctic technologies in the Arctic all the way to ocean technologies and the opportunities there, as well as some of those really local sort of non-profits that were in desperate need of some support and help. And all of that was just through spreading of a startup mindset. And by driving through that sort of purpose of the community, we were able to sort of like get so much more engagement with everybody who was around us. We got to see huge amounts of sort of like impact being driven. Um, Everything from boot camps that were involved in like, again, social innovation, through to areas that were really centered around sort of ocean technologies. It was a huge amount of sort of driven by purpose. And I think we'll get these videos to work at some point. Anyway. Um, all of this has really brought me to understand that, what it really takes to make change is the unification of people and people are best unified when they're in teams, focused teams working on specific problem sets. And I think that's really been sort of my superpower and what I've been able to like grow and build is being able to be a unifier of teams. Be it the team that I was able to grow and create at Tumo, over to the first company in the top right there that you get to see, called Lion Sharp, here in Armenia, which was one of the first venture funded companies in the last 30 years in Armenia that really sort of helped start and ignite the entire startup boom that has now been happening for the last 10 years in Armenia. Um, Down to my current team in the bottom left, which I'm happy to talk about more in a second, but also teams that I was able to sort of work with on some of these programmatic activities and opportunities to really sort of inspire change in the community. All of these like small pebbles you drop in to make impact make difference, but it takes time. And this is the reason that I'm so excited to be back here with all of you to celebrate what we've all achieved, because so many of us get to see the fruits of our labors from years ago of volunteering to the impact it can have now. And having a chance to know that I've now built these connections from all around the world. A couple of like highlights for me are the people that I were on my team at Sumo now I get to bump into in different parts of the world and sort of connect up with. And those are always nice and sporadic. But maybe the biggest highlight recently was actually sort of pictured in the top right here, where an organization called High Tech, which is an organization that sort of helps spur up the tech community across the sort of Armenian diaspora, has been connecting people all around and and has been like, was highlighting a photograph of where they started. And that photo is actually of our team as we were one of the very first teams they got a chance to work with as a sort of early success story. This has all become part of my Armenian story to date. And with my daughter, I've become more proud of like, being able to sort of tie all of these different worlds of mine together. And currently, if you're interested, what I'm currently working on, I'm now working, unfortunately, on this really big challenge of these PFAS forever chemicals. These are toxic water contaminants that is in all of our water, and unfortunately, I'm sure plagues Armenia too. Um, and the products and pieces that you find in products like Teflon, Gore-Tex, Rain-X, Scotchgard, your non-stick frying pans, as well as your dental floss. Happy to talk more about this and learn more about what I'm working on right now, but realizing the water is one of the biggest challenges of our entire generation and something that I want to dedicate more of my life to because it's one of those things that impacts both us, the climate, the world, the people, and it ties that entire people, planet, and potential profit together. I guess I'll close out by saying we are the builders for those to come. My daughter's here in the audience today. I couldn't be prouder to be able to bring her and show her back to Armenia and show her the opportunities of what I got to see when I was here, and hopefully open her eyes to the opportunities that she has to make a difference in the world. What I love is this room is filled with people who are making a difference and making impact, and she gets to be here and witness all of these people doing such great things. Thank you all for your time. I appreciate it.